Raised by wolves with canine DNA in his blood, having trained more than 24,000 pets, helping you and your fur babies thrive. Live in studio with Will Bangura, answering your pet behavior and training questions. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome your host and favorite pet behavior expert, Will Bangura.
Would you like to go on?
What?
Good day, dog lovers. I'm Will Bangura. Thanks for joining me for another episode of Dog Training Today. We really appreciate you. We love all your support. Today, I want to talk about different dog training options. You know, whether it be you needing or wanting to train a young puppy or you training an older dog, there are different options. You know, some of the most common options are sending your dog away for training, what a lot of people call board and train or doggy boot camp, having private lessons, or going to a group class. So I just want to talk a little bit about the pros and cons of all of those. Now, the first thing that I want to say is that I believe, especially when you're starting brand new training with a dog that knows little to nothing, that getting private one-on-one training is the best option for every dog and for every pet parent. And if you've got a dog that has problems in the home, nuisance behaviors like potty training issues, jumping, barking, digging, being destructive, again, having private lessons is great. Now, if you've got a lot of those nuisance behaviors at your home, private lessons are best done there at your home and not done at the trainer's facility if they have one, or meeting them in a park. Now, I'm not saying that that's a bad way to go. Again, private one-on-one training, I think, is the best thing because you, the pet parent, get the undivided attention of that trainer without them having to divide their attention with other pet parents, with other dogs. And that leads me into group training classes, because a lot of people want to opt for group training classes because in many cases, they're more affordable than private one-on-one training. And group classes can be a great thing, or they can be a complete and total disaster. Now, imagine that you've got a dog that knows nothing, and maybe it's a brand new dog to you. And you take your dog as a pet parent and go to a group class. And let's say that there's 12 other dogs in that class. Typically, what you have are 12 dogs that know nothing, that are out of control, 12 pet parents that know nothing and don't know how to get their dogs under control, and one trainer for 60 minutes. And so typically, most of the time, group training classes are an hour of chaos. Now, in some cases, there are some fantastic, really, really, really good trainers that operate and run some fantastic group classes. But if they were being honest with you, like I am right now, they would tell you one-on-one training is going to be the best option. Now, group training might be a better option for the trainer because they get to make a lot of money in group classes. That's right. It might be cheaper for you, but when you've got 12 people in a class, you're getting paid from 12 people versus doing a private instruction with one person. So, you know, group classes sometimes can be very profitable for a trainer. Now, the distraction factor is the biggest thing. All right. You never want to start training a dog when there's a ton of distractions. You're setting them up for failure. And again, if you go to a group class and your dog knows little to nothing, you know little to nothing, and most of the folks that are going to be there are going to be in the same boat. It's going to be distraction after distraction after distraction. Most of the time. Granted, there's always an exception to the rule. I know I'm going to get an email from somebody who said, hey, I took my brand new puppy to this group class. It was the greatest, best thing that we could have ever done. Well, that's fantastic. There's always exceptions to the rule, right? Now, where group classes, I think, are fantastic and where I would wholeheartedly support group training is after your dog has had private training, after your dog understands the basics, after your dog has had some time and some conditioning, and after you understand what's going on. Now, going into a group class might not be a bad idea because those distractions now are kind of wanted. Because we need to be able to do counter conditioning and desensitization and get your dog to learn to focus and have engagement with you, even when all heck is breaking loose, even when there is chaos. So group training classes, really good for intermediate training, for advanced training, but more than anything, I think they're great for the distractions. All right. Now, the third thing would be sending your dog away to board and train. And there's a reason why I left board and train or doggy boot camp or sending your dog away for training last. Because in my opinion, that is the least effective. Well, let me back up from that. It's not the best for your dog. It's not the best for you, because the best thing is for you to learn one-on-one with private instructions. First of all, to have a dog really well trained and to break bad habits, that takes, in order to have permanence and reliability, that takes more than a week. And in many cases, it's going to take more than 2 weeks and 3 weeks and 4 weeks. It takes months. That doesn't mean that you're not going to start to see some improvement, that you're not going to start to see some success before a month or two of training. But what I'm trying to say is that, hey, there's no quick fixes. And there's a lot of trainers out there. And I believe, and I want to believe that anybody working with animals, they've got a good intention. But let's face it. We're also in business. We're in business to make money. And board and train can be the most profitable part of dog training. I know I'm doing everything wrong because I don't do board and train. Because again, I don't believe in board and train. If you're completely lazy, if you only have a dog that needs the absolute basics, like come when called, sit and stay, walk on a loose leash, and maybe your dog jumps or barks, okay? Maybe board and train, maybe sending your dog away isn't a bad idea. I mean, we want your dog trained. We want you to be able to live in some kind of harmony with your dog. But I'm sorry, a lot of you aren't going to like this. You're not going to want to hear this. But if you don't have time to train your dog, please don't get a dog. Get a fish tank or something like that, okay? And I say that jokingly, but I also mean that. Think about it. You know, getting a dog is a lot of responsibility, and they have a lot of needs. And listen, if you don't have time to train your dog, then you probably don't have time to really meet the needs of your dog on a day-to-day basis. Now, listen, I know some of you are mad. Listen, hold your breath for a second. Just pause for a moment and just take that under advisement. All right? You get to make the choice. If you truly want to send your dog away to board and train, that's fine. You know, I've gotten calls from people that, like doctors, and they don't have any time, but they don't have time to train. They got their little bit of family time and they want a dog for the kids. Well, I get that. But still, I think if you don't have time for the dog, you shouldn't have the dog. Okay. Now, the worst thing you can do when it comes to sending your dog away to board and train is to send the dog, hear me out now. The worst thing you can do is send the dog that has aggression, reactivity. Those are the two behaviors that most people want to send their dog away for training. And there are a ton of trainers that are saying, hey, you got a dog that's reactive. You got a dog that's aggressive. Give them to us. We know you're struggling. Give them to us for a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and we'll bring back the perfect dog. Folks, listen to me. If it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. You are not, if we're talking real reactivity, if we're talking real aggression, that's not going away in a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. And maybe, see, here's what happens. And I've talked about it a lot on the podcast. I don't want to get into it, but trainers with little to no education, trainers that aren't certified, may be using very outdated methods that we know make the problem worse, and that's punishment. You know, a lot of people think it makes common sense that, hey, Yeah, and I hear this on the phone all the time. Look, my dog's aggressive, my dog's reactive. I need to nip this in the bud. Well, punishing your dog is only going to suppress the outward behavior. And that reactivity, that aggression is motivated by something. Behaviors don't just happen out of the blue. When a dog is reactive, when a dog is aggressive, in 99% of the cases, they are afraid. They've got anxiety. They're uncomfortable. And that's the real problem. The real problem is the underlying emotional state where the dog is viewing a trigger, whatever they're reactive or aggressive towards, whether it's a person or another dog. They're reacting to that. They're becoming aggressive because they're afraid. And you just punishing the outward behavior is like smoke and mirrors. It just suppresses that behavior. And trust me, folks, it's temporary. It's temporary. It always comes back if it's the real deal. It takes a lot of time, not forever, but it takes a lot of time and it takes work to overcome those very serious problems of aggression and reactivity. Now, the apps, and again, the best thing is you need the training. And private one-on-one training is the best way to go. Sending your dog away might sound very appealing, and it makes a lot of trainers a bunch of money, and they might prefer that than driving all over the place to see clients. But most of the time, not always, but most of the time, that is not going to be the best option for you. That is not going to be the best option for your dog. We need to take a quick second to hear from our sponsor. But if you love what we do me a favor, hit that pause button. Give us a 5-star review. We appreciate your support. We appreciate you listening. By giving us a 5-star review, that allows this podcast to be seen by more people. More people get to benefit from the advice, the information we give. And you know what? Dog training can be expensive. Not everybody can afford really good dog training and really good dog training advice. All right. We need to, as I said, hear from our sponsor. We've got to pay the bills. So here we go. I want to take a quick second to talk to you about Calm Dogs. Calm Dogs is a natural calming aid that I spent 5 years researching and developing. That's right, Calm Dogs is my creation. I developed Calm Dogs for dogs with anxiety, fears, phobias, reactivity, and even aggression. I created Calm Dogs to help dogs that have noise sensitivities, like a fear of thunderstorms or fireworks. Calm Dogs also works great for dogs with separation anxiety, a fear of car rides and travel. Calm Dogs even helps those dogs with a fear of vet visits or grooming. In fact, I'm so confident that Calm Dogs will help your dog that I make it absolutely risk-free. Calm Dogs comes with a 100% money-back guarantee. My promise to you is very simple. Calm Dogs works for your dog or it's free. Take the 45-day Calm Dog Challenge. Go to calmdogs.com or doganxiety.com to learn more about Calm Dogs and how it can help your dog today. Risk-free at calmdogs.com or doganxiety.com. All right. Thanks for listening to that. I know we got to pay the bills. We got to keep the lights on. So we got the sponsor. Do me a favor. If you've got a dog that's aggressive, reactive, fearful, phobic, check out Calm Dogs. There are some amazing success stories with that product. Well, folks, we are out of time. Thanks again for tuning in for another episode of Dog Training Today. Please share this podcast with other folks. Tell other people about it. And don't forget, each and every Saturday, I do a live Facebook Live event where, hey, if you've got questions and you want to get some positive solutions and answers, that's your opportunity. Go to the Dog Training Today Facebook page, Saturdays, 12 noon Eastern. Take care, everybody. I'm out of here.